Hey guys, it's Hi. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today we're talking about when the opposite is happening. This is such a common thing within my DMs, within my comments, within everywhere. I always see, what do I do when the opposite's happening? Why is the opposite happening? Am I doing something wrong? Why is the opposite happening? Do I need to change something? Please help me. It's common. It's a common experience and I get it all the time. And I'm gonna just straight out say, I cannot tell you exactly why the opposite's happening. Because I cannot be in your brain, okay? So I can't say, oh, this is exactly where you're going wrong. If there's a problem in manifesting and you're seeing something, it's either an acknowledgement error or living in the end error. You're either acknowledging the opposite too much or you're not living in the end fully to begin with, okay? I can't tell you which one of those it is. So today's video, I'm just gonna explain the reasons that this could be happening and you are gonna see what resonates with you, okay?
Hey.
Forgive me, I filmed this like a month and a half ago, but I'm in my new place. Look at how cute it is. But anyways, I want to say quickly, I'm doing a 50% off sale. I've been doing it for a couple weeks now. I haven't posted, so I couldn't tell you guys about it, but I'm doing a 50% off sale until December 12th. So if you want coaching, now is the time. Sessions are 50% off all the time, every day. Replies are 50% off only on Monday and Tuesday, and then they're shut down because too many people get my replies. I need to keep up with it. If you want some guidance, if you want some questions answered, if you want more of a routine, if you want more of a structure, if you want more specific advice in your situation, check out the link and get a little session with me. Nova. You heard her. The first thing I want to say is manifesting is always working. So I always hear, I can't manifest. You are manifesting. So when you're seeing the opposite, you're still manifesting. You are just manifesting the opposite. Maybe subconsciously, maybe consciously, who knows? But you are manifesting the opposite in some capacity. So that's what I want to say. Manifesting is working all the time. Manifesting does not shut off. Manifesting does not pick who it's going to work with. Manifesting is happening all the time for all of us, period, okay? I will hear people say, it's not working for me. It's working, baby. It's just you're not working it the way you want it to work. The first thing that you're going to want to do when you're seeing the opposite is you're going to want to sit yourself down, okay? Sit yourself down or get a piece of paper or just in your mind, sit on this. Sit on the acknowledgement of this, okay? There is an issue with, like I said, living in the end or acknowledgement. Okay, let's break those two down. Living in the end. We know that living in the end is all that is needed to manifest. We know this. Living in the end is consistently throughout your mindset, thinking and focusing and acknowledging on what you want to see. A huge misconception in this community is that affirming equals living in the end. That's not true. Affirming does not equal living in the end. Let me break that down a little bit more for you. Living in the end is an entire mindset. All the thoughts that you have about this desire, thinking about this desire, thinking about manifesting, thinking about your reality, need to line up with you having your desire, okay? That's living in the end. What is affirming? Affirming are affirmations are sentences that are living in the end, okay? But if I have 70,000 thoughts a day, and out of those 70,000, 10,000 of them I think about my desire, and only 500 of those thoughts were my affirmations, what about the other 9,500 thoughts? That's what living in the end is. Living in the end is controlling those 9,500 other thoughts that were not your affirmations to be in the end goal. I wish this, if I could say one thing to the entire community, it would be that. Because affirmations are conscious sentences that we are saying to be in the end goal. And yes, they're good. Keep doing that. Keep affirming. But you have to also be aware of the other thoughts you have when you're thinking about your desire and you're not affirming, okay? Because those matters too. For example, say right now I'm sitting down affirming, I have so much money, I have so much money, I have so much money, okay? I'm just repeating my affirmations, whatever. But then later I go to Target, okay? I go to Target and then I see that I want something and I don't have enough money for it. And then I start spiraling about, oh my God, I don't have money, I'm so broke, I don't have enough money. That would be, I'm not living in the end. That would be, I'm affirming, but I'm not living in the end. So you want to say your affirmations, keep doing that, those are good, while also being aware of what you're thinking throughout the day. And when your desire or your ability to manifest pops up in your mind, you want to also make sure those thoughts are in the end goal. So that's what I mean by you can be affirming and not living in the end. It's not to make it more complicated. It's really not like a huge in-depth thing. And if you tell yourself, okay, affirming is enough for me, then that's going to be enough. But a lot of the time, like 99% of the time, people don't get their desire is because they are
are affirming, but they're not being aware of any other time throughout the day they're thinking about their desire because they don't register that those are also affirmations. But all of our thoughts are affirmations. So anytime you think about your desire, whether you're thinking about it from a logical standpoint, whether you see it in front of you, whether it just pops up in your mind, whether something triggered the thought, you want to make sure that you're thinking from the perspective of, oh, okay, I have this desire is mine.
So there's a living in the end error, or there's an acknowledgement error. Acknowledgement error means you're focusing too much on something that you should not be focusing on. That may simply just be the opposite. Someone messaged me today, hey Pookie, if that's you, and they were like, hey, like I'm manifesting this, but the opposite keeps happening. And I said, it's probably because the opposite is happening and you're focusing on the opposite happening. It can literally be as simple as that.
Okay, wow, a lot of edits in this video, but I didn't mention this, and I don't know why I didn't mention this. I think it just slipped my mind, but basically another thing and another reason the opposite could be happening is simply from a self-concept standpoint that whenever you manifest, the opposite happens. It could be something as simple as this assumption around manifesting, because the way that we view manifesting is how it shows up. So for people like that you've heard, oh my god, it takes me so long to manifest, it takes me months and months and months, is because they have an assumption manifestation shows up that way. But if you see people say, I affirm for 3 affirmations and I get my desire, it's because they have that assumption about manifesting. So when the opposite is happening, it could simply just be you have this assumption, whenever I manifest, the opposite is going to happen. And that is also another big reason I did not mention in this video, and I don't know why, that you could be seeing the opposite. Are you telling yourself that the opposite is constantly happening? Are you telling yourself whenever you manifest, you see the opposite? Because I've seen that happen. I've seen people do a lot of necessarily good things while manifesting, living in the end, saying affirmations, persisting, but they are telling themselves continuously, every time I manifest, the opposite happens. So make sure you're aware of how you're viewing manifesting, because it could also be something about that.
And a lot of the time, the things that show up in our reality are past thought patterns. So when things are showing up undesirably, there's a chance that those are just your old thought patterns coming into your reality, because whatever we persist on is going to show up. Knowing that and seeing it in front of you, you have to make the conscious choice not to focus on it. Even if you caused it, even if you don't know what caused it, even if you're confused why it's here, if something undesirable shows up in front of you, you do not want to acknowledge it. And that's a big thing, because the opposite will happen and you'll freak out and be like, why is the opposite happening? And guess what? That is an affirmation. Why is the opposite happening? That is an affirmation. And then you're affirming the opposite's happening, and guess what's gonna keep happening? The opposite. Now, I want you to sit yourself down and be honest with yourself. You have to be self-aware. You have to be open and honest with yourself. You have to be able to sit down and talk to yourself and be like, truly, genuinely, what am I struggling with? Is it I can't live in the end fully? So the other thoughts that I have in my mind are focusing on not having it, not being with them, not having enough money, whatever it is. Is that happening? Or when it does happen, maybe I am living in the end fully, but when it does show up opposite, I keep focusing on it. Now, this gets me into deep-rooted assumptions. I need to do a full in-depth video on deep-rooted assumptions because seriously, there's a lot that goes into it. But deep-rooted assumptions are basically the assumptions that we hold true to ourselves that we are not consciously thinking about all throughout the day. A great example for this scenario is nothing works for you, or good things happen and they immediately go away. Those are very common ones that people have. Those are deep-rooted assumptions that could be affecting your desire. So if you think that that could be the problem as to why the opposite's happening, look into living in the end. Are you subconsciously or consciously focusing on nothing's working for you, or nothing ever works for you, or you can never get anything good, nothing good ever lasts, those types of things? Are those deep-rooted assumptions? Do you have deep-rooted assumptions of failing, deep-rooted assumptions of rejection, deep-rooted assumptions of abandonment? Try to figure out if there's like a root between any of the worries you're having or any of the acknowledgement you're having. Ask yourself if there is a correlation between my worries or my doubts, because there could be a deep-rooted assumption that's manifesting without you even knowing. For example, when I was manifesting money, I fixed this, thank God, but I had this deep-rooted assumption that anytime I had money, I was just stressed out. Like, I was blocking myself from manifesting more money because I was like, if I get more money, I'm going to be fucking stressed. I'm going to be stressed out. And then I don't want that. So I literally was blocking myself, and I was not consciously like sitting on this like meaningfully. Like, obviously I want money. Hello. I need money to live, you know, but it was just a deep-rooted assumption I had because I heard it growing up. I heard it from other people, and I didn't even know that I was sitting on this, but I was. And then when I realized, wait, what am I worrying about the most? What comes to mind the most when I am affirming or living in the end or saying my affirmations? And I realized it was that. And then as soon as I started affirming, and you might be asking, well, when you do notice it, what do? You just affirm against it. And I started affirming against it. That's exactly what I did. Whenever I was thinking about money and I thought about this is going to stress me out, I said, no, it's not. Money's going to be great. I'm going to be less stressed out with more money, actually. I didn't believe it at first. Of course I didn't. Of course I didn't. If this is a deep-rooted assumption that I believed for years, of course I'm not going to believe it as soon as I start affirming it. But the thing is, when you repeat something over and over and over and over, one of two things are going to happen. One, you're going to start naturally believing it because you're repeating it so much. Or two, you're going to start seeing it in front of you and you're going to start believing it. One or two are going to happen. So when I repeated this over and over, I removed the assumption that money is going to stress me out. I do not have that assumption anymore. I have the assumption that money makes me feel secure. Money makes me feel accomplished. You know, those types of things. So rewiring those deep-rooted assumptions could help as well. But overall, summary of this video. If you are seeing the opposite, do not acknowledge it. Do not focus on it. If you are affirming for your SP to commit to you and they told you, I don't even want to be friends anymore, do not focus on it. Say, okay, I respect that. They love me. They want to be with me. They literally want to be with me so bad. They can't stop thinking about me. They want to be with me. That's what you're going to do. Because you're not going to focus on that. Because what if that's just an old thought pattern that's purging, that's now gone? Think of it like that. Say you persisted on them never wanting to be your friend, like a couple months ago. And that purged. Because our persistence and our affirmations, what we're persisting on, has to show up in the 3D. It has to purge. Say that was a purge. And now that it purged, it's gone. That assumption is gone. It's never going to affect you anymore. But you focus on it. And you say, oh my God, see, my fear came to light. The opposite is happening. I've been affirming for them to want to be with me, and now they just left me and they don't even want to be my friend. Before that spiral or that acknowledgement, that old assumption had purged. It was gone. It was never going to show up again until you persisted on it. But you just persisted on it again. So not only did it purge, and that assumption, that acknowledgement, that undesirable circumstances went away, we're not going to come back. You just affirmed for them to come back, okay? That's why it's like a cycle, and that's why we say break that cycle, because you literally just threw yourself back into the start of the cycle. So don't even acknowledge it. If something bad happens in your reality, and say it affects you, it affects you, and you're struggling, you can tell yourself, oh, that really fucking sucked, and I'm really upset about that, and that was really hard for me. But I still am a fucking bad bitch, and I'm gonna get what I want, okay? And then you're going to start affirming and saying your affirmations again. Literally is it. Like, that's literally all that you have to do. So don't acknowledge it. Don't put your energy on it. Put your energy where you want to see grow, okay? If you don't want to see something grow, don't even look at it, girl. Maybe in this video you found, okay, wait, maybe my problem is right here, or watching this video has opened your mind up to what else you can do to better yourself in your reality so the opposite does not keep happening. But that is it for today's video. Thank you guys so much for watching. I love you guys so much. I love it out here. I might film some more out here before it gets too cold. You know what would be fun? A video out here in the winter. Okay, anyways, that is it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching. As always, watching this video has helped you manifest. Say it with me. Watching this video has helped me manifest. Watching this video has helped me manifest. And I'll see you guys soon. Bye.